I've had a lot of injuries. I had been already investigating stem cell technology, PRP, and nutritional products to help me. As I was saying earlier, I'm a skier. I still ski. And when I was young, I really gave myself some very strong injuries that I compensated by training. But the older I got, I wound up in a situation actually 3 years ago in Dubai. I lost all neurological feed to my left leg. Walking down the street, I just collapsed. And that was from aggressive training. And so, putting it out there to the universe, I needed something to really make a difference. And Onyx Cole, my upline, got a hold of me. I also work in Sarasota. And she shared with me what had happened for her friend with multiple sclerosis. And it's kind of ironic because that's what got me into healing, was a friend with multiple sclerosis. And so this was my, the light went on and I took the patches. In fact, I bought a diamond right away because I had to go back to Sweden. I want to beat the taxes. So I got them and I started sharing them. And yeah. The first day I wore the patch, though, I was numb in the 3 middle toes on each foot, and within 6 hours, I sat in my car and it felt like my toes were thawing out after going skiing, and your toes freeze in the boots and they start coming back to life. I thought, well, because I'd been working on some things, and I thought maybe I was in a bad position, but it stayed for 3 days, and from there on, I've had, as Beamy has said, I've had, for me, miraculous recovery, and things that have plagued my structures that many neuromuscular workers, Feldenkrais and some others, have always said the problem was in my pelvic and hips, that I couldn't get over my knees properly, or my knees couldn't get under my structure properly. This has resolved, and that's resolved in the last 3 months, and I've been using it for like 19 months. So.
Now, let me ask you, because I know you've had a lot of major traumas, and you told me that you've had at least nine brain traumas, and one really severely from that skiing accident. You could just share what happened when you went up and came down.
That's the good thing about going up, is you do come down. Yeah, I don't know if anybody skis Mammoth, but I used to do the West Bowl at Mammoth, and I'd climb up, come across high on the West Bowl and come down the valley and jump over one hill and land in the valley of the next hill. And during my time away, the trajectory changed. The belly of the valley had melted, and the hill had gone vertical. And I launched and went straight up for the longest time, going straight up. And then I kind of crested and I looked down and I saw my brother. And I like Wile E. Coyote, I just fell. I blew metal skis out. I hit my chin on my knee, and I jammed all my vertebrae in the mid-thoracic together. But that's when I blew my hips up. And luckily, the family doctor lived like around the corner from us in Altadena, which was ironic because I wound up not being able to bend over in the shower. And one night, and my dad drove me over there, and Mr. Nader was able to, he did a chiropractic move on me back then. And yeah, so that stayed with me my whole life. And that's the first one. Yeah, so.
How has the patch helped you deal with that? Because I know it has kind of followed you through a lot of different contractions in your life where you haven't been able to do certain things.
Well, that initial injury set me up for subsequent injuries. I raced. I did giant slalom. I did just insane speed skiing. I'd ski out of my bindings. I didn't have bindings that would hold me, and the chatter would go too fast and you come out of your skis. But so I had some pretty big crashes. But my knees were always overstressed because of that alignments. And I know that now because after about 5 healing events with my knees, the nerves actually grew back to my knees, reconnecting with this patch, which was amazing to experience because I had been skiing in Sweden over the last 10 years. I've been here, and I've been running, doing intervals. I do different forms of Kung Fu and plus my Tai Chi. And yeah, these are all very stressful on the knees. And then the nerves grew back. And the last event that I had, I felt like the knees all seemed to be in good shape. All the structures were in good shape. There was no pain anymore in the knee. And then all of a sudden, it inflamed terribly, and I couldn't get down the stairs. And this was about 3.5 months ago, 4 months ago. And what I noticed when that happened, I just laid down. I didn't push it. And it took about 10 days. And what happened after that was my structures aligned, and I was pain-free. I could still was nervous going down the stairs, and I took it easy. But what I noticed was my hips felt tighter. I could feel the movement in my core and my pelvis when I did my Tai Chi, like I'd never felt it before. I've been doing Tai Chi for like 34 years. It's like, wow, so something really reconnected there. And what I believe to have happened is that the scarring and adhesion that happened when I did that first accident when I was 13 was eliminated. And that was the last key to getting my whole structure back. And now I've gone skiing twice in the last last month. And it's pain-free. I mean, I feel more secure. It's just amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
growing your nerves back.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's
a big thing, because nerves don't grow back very easily. But I know that's not the only place you've had nerve damage. What about your wrist and your fingers? Because you've had quite a bit of trauma there.
Yeah, I broke this wrist twice, and I never said it either time. I didn't realize it was broken. So I just kept working with it. And I had, as I was saying, I had an architectural contracting firm in San Francisco. I built houses down Woodside and up in Marin and around. And anyway, I was doing this little move, and I accidentally stabbed myself right here. There's a Harry Potter Z here. And I cut all the nerves to these fingers. And I had microscopic surgery. It grew back. And through the years, I've been able to energetically work with it. And it's been pretty good. But once I saw all these other benefits and my knees growing back, I just want to say one thing, like about, I'd say 6 months ago, my left knee, the nerves came back and my knee was wobbling like this. There was so much empty space in there, and I never felt that. So that was a big one. Anyway, I put the patch right on the wound, and I did a floor treatment. I'm a therapist, and I do different floor moves. And I went to push myself up off the floor, and I haven't pushed back on my hand in 30 years. So I did that, and the nerve like popped, it felt like, in this middle finger, and was just extremely painful. And I taped it with a patch on that finger, and then I patched here, and I patched at my neck. And I was on a camping trip up in northern Sweden, and within about 4 days, I could bend it. And within 2 weeks, I was able to unwrap it and everything. And then what I noticed was, I broke this wrist in, I think about 83 or 85, something like that. And then I broke it again in like 2003. But there's this, I don't know if you can see this big lump here. I don't know if that's apparent. Well, I never saw that. And I'm driving down the road, and this friend of mine goes, "What'd you do? Break your wrist?" I go, "What do you think?" He goes, "That big lump on your wrist." And he's known me for a while here, and I looked, and I can feel the bones, I can see it. So all the adhesion and scar tissue in here is gone, and this hand actually feels more powerful than this hand now, and so, which is nice because this is my guitar hand. So.
Because there's so many different healings that you've had. I know that you said something about the change of the shape of your head, something that happened?
Yes. I've had, when I went to count my head traumas, this is one of the best things about, for me, I mean, it's all great, but I've really taken some big wallops to the head. And after, I would say about a year and a half, I found this old hat and I put my hat on and it was loose. And then I went to feel my head, and all these bumps that were on the back of my head and the sides from injuries have gone dramatically smaller. So yeah, I changed my hat size, smaller.